Welcome back. This is Ethelred, the worst Civ player on YouTube. Let's play some Civ. Alright, we left off 2750 BC. I haven't met any other civilizations. Not a good sign, but I am on an island. And we are working straight away on getting Stonehenge. So, we just talked about the Bog people in the last episode. And there's actually not much history to discuss between now and 2500 when, I believe it was 2500 when Stonehenge was built. Yes, that's right. Let's try to match history and have Stonehenge out by 2500 BC. So these bogs, they play in very deeply into the mythology of the people. We're going to come back to this again and again.
Teach us to number our days so that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom.
Okay. So I'm a role player in my other hobbies, and I bring a little of it to everything that I do, including playing Civ, which you wouldn't think. You don't role play when you play Civ. Well, I guess that's why I do the history dork thing. But I just love listening to the narrator read these flavor quotes along with the technologies. So when we get our worker, which is banked, we've got a lot of hammers banked on that worker. We're going to need him to chop forests for Stonehenge, so we're going to go with mining. All right. Second city location. Well, the second city location is probably going to be on the continent. But let's talk about the second city location on this island. And I'm thinking it's going to be up here by these mountains up there. So that's Scotland. I guess that's the highlands and the lowlands. If I'm right, the lowlands are actually to the north and the highlands are to the south, I think. So, so how far am I in studying British history? I admit I'm not all the way done. I'm up to about the 8th century AD. And the time when Rome was here, we'll get there. When Rome was here, and it was the Roman occupation of Britain, they tried their damnedest to put down Scotland and to put Scotland in its place. And they never succeeded. I had a lot of respect for the Scots. Okay, so we just got mining. I think we're going to start on our next strategic objective, which is crossing the channel, so that'll be optics. As soon as we can get this worker out, we're going to start chopping forests as madly as we can chop forests for Stonehenge. Because Stonehenge is just one component of everything that we need to be doing simultaneously right now. So honestly, will this be a domination win? I don't know. We may get to 2080 and realize that there's just not going to be a domination win, but we can win diplomatically or something like that, in which case I'm going to take whatever victory condition presents itself first. Alright, we are going to move straight for legalism now to get our monument, which we don't have. And I'm getting a little anxious about the fact that I'm not finding any other civilizations. Something that I listen to a lot of Let's Plays, and something that I'm a huge fan of Marvis here. Something that he has pointed out repeatedly is that if other civilizations have researched a technology, then you get a discount to researching that technology if you have met that civilization. And I know there's other civilizations out there right now ahead of me in the tech tree, researching things that are probably way far ahead of me. But I'm not going to get any of the benefit of that if I haven't met them. And I can't meet them because I'm on an island. I'm going to admit, this series has a lot of headwinds to it. Starting on an island, being isolated, being on a giant map, trying for a domination win, not having any luxuries starting off. I'm certainly not going to guarantee a win. In the next time we do a series, it's going to be someplace like Russia or someplace where I'm on a mainland and I'm going to be surrounded by other civilizations. All right, so some histories happened. Stonehenge has been built in real life in 2500 BC. In 2450 actually, that's the date of the first evidence of copper tools and weapons. That was the dawn of the Copper Age. And in 2200 BC, industrial flint mining began in Britain. Let's see here. Oh yes, there was also evidence of trade and wooden tools in 2200. In Mesopotamia, by contrast, Sargon the Great was conquering to the four corners of the known world. Awesome dude, Sargon. If you're not familiar with him, please go check out the Babylonian series. The Babylonian series was a lot of fun up until the time when Babylon was extinguished from the face of the earth. And then I didn't have any history really to talk about. That was one of the components of picking England, is that there may be some stretches where I don't really have much to discuss in the way of history early on, but on the balance, there's just gazillions of reams of history more about England than there is Babylon. So, let's see. Flint mining going on in Britain. 2150. An important lesson was learned, which was if you melt tin, which they found was readily accessible in Britain, if you melt tin and copper together, also readily accessible, you get an alloy called bronze, which is much harder than copper and made for much better tools and much better weapons. So the Bronze Age appeared here in Britain in 2150. With the Bronze Age came an interesting culture local to Britain called the Beaker people. And these people, they made a very unique type of clay pot. And in these pots they would put valuable things such as beads, quasi-precious stones, daggers, etc. And then they would put these pots in the long barrows along with their dead. So, like burial rites, you're burying something with your beloved who has gone before you. Also, they would put their precious items into these clay pots, these beakers, and then they would put them into the bog. Again, making offerings to the bogs. So let's see, what else? Also, people began to throw swords into the bogs. So you need to cross from point A to point B. There's a bog in between. Bogs are very dangerous. Stonehenge. We can almost guarantee a religion now. Yes, so the idea is that the more precious of a thing that you give to the bog, the more likely you are to cross. Well, a dagger is very precious. But what's more precious than a dagger? I really want to survive. I have a spare sword. I'm going to throw my sword into the bog. Okay, that was flip. It probably wasn't a spare sword. Swords were eye-wateringly expensive. It was, I value my life more than the sword. I'm going to throw the sword in, and that will be my offering, and hopefully I will get across to the other side. Now, this is important. I want to take a moment here to say, look, remember this. Swords are going into the bog waters as an offering to the earth for safe passage. This will come back later on as the relationship, this druidic relationship with the land, is a two-way street, right? So we finished Stonehenge. Hooray. We got optics in one turn. We're going to get a settler together, and we're going to send that settler over to the mainland as soon as we can. I think we're going to chop some more forests to get this settler sped along his merry way. So, not very druidic of us, right? We're chopping every forest we can see.
You made it?
Optics. Great. So, when we get our city over on the continent, we're going to need defenses. And for that, we're going to use an archer. And walls. So soon we will be taking archery, or masonry for the walls. 1750 BC, still not much going on in the game. What's happening in history? Nothing is happening in history because this is one of those periods of time where we just don't know much about what was happening in Britain. Alrighty, setting a timer here for myself so I don't talk all night long. An unmet player has entered the classical era. Is that the first one of these notifications? I think it is. And if that's the truth, that means... Okay, well, there's a second one. That means that the AI is perhaps not so terribly ahead of me. I have mining. I have gold. Let's buy a mine. Let's go buy a hill, rather, to set up a mine. And then we'll start doing the whole farm thing as much as possible. Okay, there's another player entering the classical era. You know, I'm not jealous. I'm in the classical era myself. So there's hope that we're not extremely far behind the AI right now. So, archery is done. Let's get animal husbandry, see if there's any horses nearby that we can develop into stables. As you note, we have no luxuries, so we're going to have problems with happiness sooner than later. And so, okay, great library. I'm glad I didn't try for it, honestly. So a circus would be great, but to have a circus, we need improved horses. And in order to have improved horses, we need to be able to find horses. We need animal husbandry. Okay, here's our free cultural building. And we're going to, with optics, head across the channel. Actually, let's land right here. Okay, things really getting started in this game. Pyramids built, a lot of people into the classical era now. I'm hoping to find someone. Oh, good. Setting up the mine, cleared the forest. Wow, we got a settler faster than I would have thought. So we'll use one turn to cross this river. And I don't know where I haven't figured out my second city yet because my warrior hasn't had a chance to scout enough yet. And what are we going to build now? Okay. I'm thinking a scout would be good. And an archer to defend. And a trireme. And another settler. And gosh, so many things to build now. So these are probably the four things that I want. What order do we want them in? A scout, yes, probably first, and the archer, yes, we'll need that. Let's do the trireme after another settler. Okay, so that'll be our build order, and let's see if we can get a sense for the land here. We'll spend another unit embarking our settler while we get this warrior down here. And I am taking chances without exactly escorting my settler. We'll need masonry for city walls, so we'll do that. Let's try to get up on this hill here and... yeah, that's marsh. So let's... Actually, we can scout in our boat. That's not bad. I want to get this warrior up on this hill to see the lay of the land here. Okay, I'm feeling like... I'm trying to decide if I want to settle over here or if I want to settle over here. You know what? Easy. This is easy. Because I want to be able to backfill. And I don't see any civilizations coming up north through here. So I suspect that there's none south of here. They must be far to the east. So let's move east with our units and start setting up a line of cities to the east. Yeah, that's probably the best thing for us to do. Oh, goody, a scout. That will help immensely. We're just going to sleep this guy here off the shore for a minute while we get a scout over. Zoom in a little. There we go. All right, marshlands. Sugar. River systems are good. I want to settle somewhere right along here. What to do with this warrior, eh? The scout really will handle the scouting now. I feel like he should probably stay home in case barbarians come and cause me problems. Alright, it's very boring, but the warrior will be on home duty, protecting against barbarians. I don't want them pillaging my mine and stuff like that. Dull, but somebody's got to do it. And what's over here? Okay, there is nobody around here. Yeah, so I'm thinking now I'm going to settle cheese. I would love to settle... I wish there was a hill over here someplace. There is not. Really poor production all through here. I think that cheese... These are really poor city locations. Granted, I'm going to have a city up here. And that'll be... Like if I put my city right here, that'll have fishing, production. It'll be next to a mountain to have research. Great. Over here I would get sugar, so that would be extremely valuable. As right now, that is the only luxury resource anywhere on the map. So if I settle precisely here, I'll be coastal. Oh, look. Right here. That's kind of a long way away, but I won't be connecting them with roads. I'll be connecting them with harbors. That would get me horses and sugar and river and coast. I could set up some lumber mills here in the woods. Oh, but there's also horses here. I can't set up a city here, though. That would be too close. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm thinking it's going to go right here. That's kind of a long-distance city. It's a bold move. I think I'm going to go for it, though. Yeah. So, geez, I'm agonizing over this. Let's just, you know what? The first shogun of Japan, when he was confronted, Tokunaga, when he was confronted with difficult situations, he would caution patience. Patience. And sometimes the rules on the ground change. So we're going to give ourselves one more turn to scout. And we'll scout this way. Wittenberg. And another culture. Look. Ha ha ha. Look there. That, if I'm not mistaken, that is the Vikings. And I would be forward settling them if I were to settle here. Not something I really want to get into, forward settling. So, yes, and that would be just prime for a city takeover. So I think now that settling here, although it would pick up the river, the coast, the horses, and the sugar, would be too far away. If, on the other hand, I were to settle, say, here, I would not be necessarily forward settling them. I would still get the river, the coast, and the sugar. Yeah. That might be a better location. There would be overlap, for sure. Yeah, there would be overlap of the water. Let's do it. Let's set up right there on that marsh. Yeah. Okay. That was a really tortured decision. And we're going to have to set all of our cities out ASAP now in order to take advantage of the land. This is the land grab time. So I hope I'm not making a mistake here. And hopefully I'm not forward settling these people. I guess we'll find out. We'll go meet these people. Denmark. And it doesn't look like I have any immediate negative modifiers. So we will send the scout down here. And what's the first thing that we're going to build? A granary, I think. I don't think it's pronounced granary. I think it's a granary. Let's do granary. Okay, yes. So, history. I've been focused so much on picking a good location. What history have we got? I have notes here. That's what you might hear me flipping around in the background. 1150. We're not quite there yet. This is a period of time between 1600 and 1150 where we just don't know much about what's going on. Okay. Excuse me. So, granary in York. We'll get sugar. Yeah, we're at 0 happiness. This worker needs to come over here and develop this sugar straight away. Not quite yet. I know where you are. I know you don't know where my capital is, so I'm not going to accept that. And we have the technology for walls. So, I think at this point that I'm going to go for ironworking for Colossus. Let's see. Yes, we'll go for ironworking. And Colossus is one of my next strategic goals. That will get me some great engineer points. That'll help me trade with my neighbors. That'll get the gold flowing. And I love this waterway connection that I've got. Okay, and we're going to go negative here in 8 turns if I don't get something set up. Okay, Zurich. Hello, Zurich. So we've got, what, 2 militaristic city-states? What are these guys? Oh, no. That's mercantile, and that is faith. Nice to know. And they both have problems with barbarian encampments. Very good to know. I do not have any way of helping you with your barbarian encampments. I will try as soon as possible. In the meantime, I'm totally content that you're here because you're creating something of a buffer between me and the other civilizations. 17 turns. That is bad news. That's because I have to clear the marsh. So I'm going to have happiness problems soon. And I don't think that there's anything I'm going to be able to do about that. Unless I... Oh, look, and now I'm negative in gold. Unless I were to get friendly with a city-state. So, my archer will come over here to York to protect it. And we're working on another settler. At this point, I'm going to call it for the night. If you liked the episode, if you didn't like it, there's buttons for those. Please go click those. Let me know how I'm doing. Also, if you'd like to hear more episodes like this one, where we discuss the history of the British people, and also try to win with apparently all of the odds stacked against us. I'm feeling like I'm off to a really miserable start. But if you'd like to see more episodes like this, click subscribe, please. And if you have anything you'd like to say, please leave a comment. I read all of them. Thank you very much. Have a good day.